Juggernaut, USA. Ram ProMaster LED headlight kit install instructions.
Today I'm going to show you how to install the Juggernaut USA LED headlight upgrade kit. And if you bought your own lights, you can also use this guide. So let's get started with what tools we'll need. Electrical tape, red gasket maker, a 6mm Allen, a Fender puller, a Phillips screwdriver, and a 10mm socket. And all this will be included in the kit. So first, we'll take our Phillips screwdriver, and we got 2 screws up here. Just break that loose, and then you can just hand screw that out. And then you can just pull from the engine side, kind of pull up. There's 2 little kind of push rivets there, as you can see. So we just got to pop these out, and then you can just pull this out. So then we'll take our Phillips again. For this lower panel, we'll first unscrew this Phillips screw that's right here. And then we'll grab our Fender puller. And we'll come around to this side right here. So now to pull this out, there's 2 little kind of push rivets in here. I'll just pry kind of the top one out, and then we'll pry the bottom one out. And then basically, there's 2 clips that are holding it each direction, so we just kind of have to wiggle it back and forth so you can unhook both this guy and that guy. And then we'll set this aside. So then we'll take our 10mm socket. We've got 1 bolt up here, 1 bolt down there, and 1 bolt down there. So we'll take those out. Alright, so we got all those bolts out, so this is loose. There's still kind of a clip in here, so we just got to be a little careful. Just kind of pull it out gently. And then on the back, here's where all the wires for the headlight are. So you have this clip right here, and you just push that little tab and pull out. There's that little clip that we pull out. So just pull it straight out, and then that'll come out. Here's the headlight. So first we're going to take these little dust covers off. So you can just kind of twist it counterclockwise. And then from there, we're going to pull the old headlights out, where there's another little clip right here that you pull up on the bottom. We can just kind of let that guy hang for a second. Then we'll pull out this one as well. So we got those 2 out. So there's a little push button. And then we can pull out the old bulbs and get rid of those. Oops. So here are our LED bulbs. So we'll use one of these for the high beams, one of these for the low beams. So a good thing to do before we kind of gasket maker them in there is make sure we have them wired up right. So we'll hook these up, and then we'll test them. So you make sure that the polarity is right, because there is a positive and a negative. So if it doesn't work when you hook it up, just pull out the switch and flip it around. So we got those 2, and we'll bring it back over to the car. Gently rest this here. Plug in the harness. And we'll turn on the headlights and make sure it works. So you have to turn on the ignition just to make sure the headlights work. So we turned on both the low beam and the high beam. So both of them are hooked up correctly. Alright, so now that we know we have them hooked up the right way, we can wrap some electrical tape just to make sure these don't fall out. I haven't had many issues where people have had them fall out, but I've had a couple customers, so we just do it as precaution. Take some electrical tape and just kind of wrap it around just to make sure it doesn't wiggle itself out. And we'll do the same for the other bulb as well. The right in there, there's a little notch. And if you look at the headlight, there's a little notch on that. So basically that little notch will slide into that one. But first, we're gonna put red gasket maker on here, since the factory clips don't work with these bulbs, and that'll help it stick in there. So we have our tube of red gasket maker. Including your kit will be gloves as well. We just ran out, unfortunately. So take this guy, and just put a little bead right on that lower edge. All right, and then we'll take our headlight, find that little divot, and we will put it in there and hold it so that it sets. So I've got it in there. You can kind of see the gasket maker is going around it. And so hold it for about a minute. Just let it start to stick a little bit. So then for the other side, it's the same. You can see that there's like a little divot in there. This one's a little hard to get into, so you kind of got to slot it down in, but not too bad. Okay, so now that we got those bulbs in there, we can just kind of tuck the wires in there, and we'll just put these caps back on. So just kind of rotate it until it gets in there. Sweet. And then we'll take this and just gently put it back. Okay. So just kind of guide that right corner pin. You'll see a little pocket to kind of push it into. Push it in, snap it in, and then we can hook up the light. So now we got our headlight just resting in there. We'll put these 3 10mm bolts back. So there's one here, one there, and one up here. So we'll take this lower trim piece and we'll put it back on. So you got those 2 clips, so you just kind of want to push those in between these 2 black little plastic pieces. And then kind of line up these clips on the right side that we popped out. And make sure this is just going over that bolt hole. And just give it a nice little tap. The Phillips head, that's a small little guy, and we'll put that guy in right here. So before we put this top cover back on, we're going to need to adjust the headlight up and down, because with these brighter lights they shine way more up. So we have our 6mm just little hand tool. So you'll feed it through this top larger hole right here, and you'll see a little kind of plastic bucket on the end, and then we'll just twist it to the left, and that'll go down. And so a good way to do this is you do both headlights, you leave these off, pull up to a wall at night where you're on level ground, and you can see your headlight adjustment, and then you can kind of walk over to the other side, pretend you're in a car, and see if they're blinding you. Alright, so now that we adjusted the headlight, we can put this cover back on. So you've got this little kind of tooth up here, just kind of feed it under the top, and then this edge you'll see some little kind of holders on the headlight. So feed that guy in, put it there, and then just kind of give it a couple little taps, push those push rivets back in, and then we'll put these 2 Phillips heads back in, and they're these guys. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So now if you got the fog light package, we'll go down, and I like to turn the wheel, far to the right if you're on the right side, because it kind of just gives you a lot more area to work in here. We're going to take off this screw and that panel, and that'll give us access to the fog light. And that's just a Phillips. We got that panel off. You can see the fog light in there. So you can just grab that bulb and just twist it counterclockwise, and it'll pop right out. There's the harness with the bulb. So now we can just disconnect the bulb, which is with this little button right there, and then we'll put the new bulb in. There's the fog light hooked up. And then we'll just put it back in, twist it to the right. And then we'll just put this cover back on. You just got these two little teeth on the bottom. You just kind of slide it in there, put it up, put the screw in. Let's do the same on the other side as well. And then also for the driver's side, you can either take out this panel or you can just reach underneath and get your hand up in there. That'll look all wired up. You got the connector going to the LED bulb, and then we like to zip tie it just to this steel plate under here so that this wire's not hanging down and flopping around. And you're good to go after that.
Onyx, look, look, hey, look, sit.
Oh, buddy. Good boy. Now attack.
Lay down, down. No, not over here.
You're out of the shot, Onyx.
Out of the shot, Onyx.